Well, hello, friends, and welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Yeti. I'm David Nuno, and this guy right here is an MMA warrior, my buddy Jordan Pate, who works out at Brazos Valley MMA. He's been my coach for a little bit. Jordan, you got to see the show behind the scenes. What was your favorite part?
Really just coming into the studio, man, and seeing how it all works. I was kind of blown away, like right when I knew there was a lot to go on, just really seeing it, getting a scope for it, and then just watching y'all just drop stats and talk back and forth and just name guys. Like, I mean, this is what you do, but it's kind of like me for MMA, where I just like talk about different fighters all the time and different techniques and styles that they do. So it's very interesting, and a lot of cameras. Yeah. I like it.
Hey, tell the people, my triangle choke is pretty good now, right?
After it's getting a lot better.
It's getting better.
Yeah,
I've been practicing on it. Now it's ready for Lane Kiffin. All right, so today on the show, we had Billy. Obviously, we had to have Billy in studio. He was great. Buzz Williams called in for the first time this season. We'll be talking to Buzz throughout the year. We had Tom Hart on the program. Jared, what was your favorite part, man? I forgot to ask you.
Pretty obviously, it's going to be Buzz Williams.
Yeah.
The conversation, you, Billy, Buzz, just a great combo. Buzz always brings a lot of good energy and just good vibes, so.
Yep. All right. It is the TexAgs Rewind. Check it out. What would you say was the big worry, if there was a worry, taking on South Carolina?
The big worry, Spencer Rattler.
Did he do anything?
He threw a couple touchdown passes, right? Or no, I guess he threw one and he got him set up.
He threw one touchdown.
Yeah, and then he got him set up for one.
So his numbers, 20 of 33, 176 yards, one touchdown.
Just about like last year.
Yeah, and nothing big, right?
Nothing big, yeah.
And how other teams have beat A&M have been over the top or exploiting the secondary, right? That was not an issue. Now, they are undermanned, no doubt, right? But that same team has been in closer games with Georgia, game with Georgia. So, look, I talked about this on the post-game wrap. I'll say it out loud to you. As I'm watching the game, the eyeball test tells me the offense didn't look good and Max was just okay, right?
All right.
You look at the numbers, you could say it's just okay, but his numbers weren't bad at all. 20 of 30, 249, a touchdown. I guess what...
really, 2 touchdowns if SEC video replay had a clue.
100%. 100%. And you talk about some of the dogs on this team. I don't know why I say it like that. You've got Anias that you can count on every play. You've got Edge Cooper that you can count on. Fidel Diggs had a nice day.
He always does.
You know, like there's a couple dudes that we just need to. And Bryce Anderson always steps up when he's out there.
Bryce Anderson's a heck of a player.
Like, it makes you wonder what happens in Tennessee. Look, I know the offense wasn't there, but maybe it doesn't matter, but maybe it does matter.
Had Bryce played?
Yeah.
Oh, they'd have been better. Look, you
can't have him out and not be better, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah.
I believe that he's better than Antonio Johnson.
Okay.
In the role he's now. Now here's something. They're moving him around, which I think just goes to show how versatile he is. But I mean, he's a heck of a football player.
He is.
And yes, you would have been better. And maybe if Bryce plays, you take a field goal off maybe even a touchdown off the scoreboard, but he couldn't have helped you on offense. Maybe he would have helped you get some better field position.
Maybe a little.
Which, by the way, that might be an issue moving forward.
Here's the key, especially when you're wearing dress shoes, even if they're dress sneakers and you're on a field of any sort, like it's like walking on ice a little bit. And I actually showed my family last night at dinner and they all just rolled their eyes. They're so embarrassed. And they're like, why weren't you really running? Like, you were just kind of shuffling. I said, because the worst thing that could happen is you fall right on your butt.
Yep.
Like, you slip in your dress shoes and you go down. That's the end. Over. So just make it to your point and then leave the ground. Chris Beard offered me a walk-on spot last night. I said, no, I'm a straight scholarship player. Like, if you want me to be on this Ole Miss basketball team, find me some NIL and a Scotty, son. That's how I roll.
Hey, you could throw it down. That was apparent. You can absolutely throw it down. Let's talk a little A&M, because I know you didn't watch the game because you were busy at another game, but I'm sure you've caught up. I tell people, like, aesthetically, when we're watching the game, it didn't feel great. But if you look at the stats, they did exactly what they're supposed to do, Tom. So what was your assessment of what, the highlights you saw and some of the stats?
Yeah, I was able to watch a good chunk of it flipping around before we left the hotel. But what did I tell you last week? I said that it matched up really well on the defensive side for A&M. because South Carolina's offensive line is just a revolving door, right? And that played out. 10 tackles for loss. What was it? 4 sacks, I think, 3 or 4 sacks. The pressures that they got on Rattler, I don't know. Did he have 3 intentional grounding penalties?
He did.
I've never seen that before. So he was obviously rattled, no pun intended, and they were in his face the entire time. So that played right into A&M's strength. What I didn't notice, I kind of did the same thing you did. Like, I went back and looked at the stats. What I wasn't aware of in the moment.
That game, what I think of it, look, I think A&M went out and handled business. And it was a positive Saturday. I don't think, for all the negativity of the last 2 weeks, and rightfully so, when you have chances to win important SEC games and you don't. They needed to come back and win. They all weigh the same in the record, but you know the ones that are bigger than the others and the opportunities. Which, by the way, they've got one coming up next week again. That's 3 out of 4 weeks, and right now you're 0-2. This one was not one of those, but it was a must-win game. And I think almost all these SEC home games need to be considered must-wins, because not that A&M should have the losing streak on the road that they have, but road wins in this league are difficult.
Yeah, they are.
That's why Tennessee going and beating Kentucky was really significant this weekend. Road wins in this league are hard. LSU couldn't go into Oxford and come out with a win. It's haunting them right now. They're tough to get. You got to get more than none in your last 10, goes without saying. But when you're at home and you're a home favorite, especially, those every year, I don't care the year, I don't care. Those are must-win games. You're a 1-point favorite at home. It's a must-win game because it's so hard to get them away from home.
Yeah.
You're a better team. You're favored by 3 on the road. That's upset alert city. So when you're a favorite at home, and A&M was a 2-score favorite, it was a bad first quarter. It was a very concerning first quarter because you're going, look, if there's one thing Rattler and South Carolina could do, it's score. I was never that worried about it because I didn't think they could score a lot with that offensive line. But after that first quarter, you're going, hey, you only have 3 quarters of football left here. And you got 3 quarters of ball left to play, and you're begging for a 4-quarter game that could turn on a play.
We did not win. We lost by 5. I know it wasn't streamed, and that's part of its secret, so to say, other than the people that buy tickets. But there are so many lessons that come from both. And a lot of what we learned from Baylor, we were actually better yesterday against Texas Tech. And some of the things that weren't brought to our attention against Baylor are staring at us dead in the face this morning. So what I told the team last night was we're ahead of schedule in regards to the lessons that we need to learn relative to what's in front of us over the next, 150 days. And that's hard, but that's also what you want if you're trying to compete at the highest level. And so not everything is going to go good. And how are you going to handle the good things? And also, how are you going to handle the bad things? Because 2 days later, 4 days later, there's another test coming. And so the last 2 weeks have been good for our program.
Talking to Buzz Williams here on TexAgs Radio, you talked about being ahead of schedule. Can you kind of maybe give us the playbook version or the quick version of how you go into a season and how you build upon certain parts of the year to be ready at the end to be at your best?
Well, I think what's forcing us, David, to do things differently than what we've ever had to do. Everybody talks about the returning players. We understand that. It's a special time because of that. That's hard to do in the current model of college athletics. The flip side of that is we also play 8 games in November. 5 of those 8 are not at Reed Arena. And so all of the things that are about to potentially transpire, all the special situations, all of the unique opportunities that we haven't been in since last January, February, that's coming to us in November. And so we are foolish as a staff if we don't contrived situations in practice and practice situations that we know could happen over the next, 30, 45 days.
All right, Jared, do you think he gets this one?
He might get one of them, maybe two.
I know he's a YouTuber. What are you supposed to do after watching a YouTube video?
Oh, like, comment, and subscribe.
My dude!
Yeah.
And notification bell on.
Yeah, hit that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.